the growth-minded leader, stay relevant, resilient, and ready. Welcome, Doctor, to today's
Thank you
webinar.
so much, Adedeji. I was just wondering if that was my profile you were reading.
It's my
All
pleasure, sir.
right,
It's our pleasure to host
great.
you. Thank you so much.
Let me say well done to the Zoria Resources team. The webinars are a great way to help professionals upskill and reskill and also relearn and continuously unlearn and get better at what they do. Learning is one way to sharpen your cutting edge. That's what I tell people. Learning is also a way to cultivate mental excellence. I say to people that corridors of power cannot open unto a man if he does not exude mental excellence. And one of the keys to cultivate mental excellence is learning. So I'm excited to be with us in this morning's session. The growth minded leader is a summary of learning. When we talk about the growth mindset is all about ensuring that you are continuously learning and that you are not rigid in your approach to life. You know, as I often say to people that the only constant thing in this world is change. That's the only constant thing. The world is going through constant change. And so leaders who would thrive in these times are not necessarily those who have the highest IQ, no, but are those who are adaptable, those who are flexible, those who are resilient, those who have grit, those who have tenacity, meaning that those who are able to reframe failure as a learning opportunity and not seeing failure as a setback. And of course, Dr. Carol Dweck, who is one of the foremost proponents on the subject of growth mindset, says that the growth mindset is the belief, the conscious belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents are not fixed traits. They can be consistently honed and developed through dedication, effort, and persistence. That's the summary of the growth mindset. So in this webinar this morning, we will be seeing the growth mindset. We will be looking at, the growth mindset and its three cousins: lifelong learning, intellectual humility, and of course, optimistic attitude. We'll also look at the differences between the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. How do you cultivate the growth mindset as a leader? Because you see, I say to people that leadership, true leadership, starts with self-leadership. And self-leadership will trigger self-transformation. So it's a journey. You want to become a leader with influence. It starts with self-leadership. And self-leadership triggers personal transformation. So at the core of your transformation as a leader is the growth mindset and its three cousins. We'll look at it shortly. So what really is the growth mindset? And I often say that when we look at the subject of growth, when you even say growth from biology, all right, I'm a science student. When you look at growth in biology, a lot of people approach growth from indices, what they can see. So someone has grown taller, someone has grown fatter, or, someone has grown more futures, particularly as you move towards puberty. That means that when you grow, it's visible to people. How much more when you now grow mentally? It shows. So if physical growth shows, mental and emotional growth also shows. So you must pay attention to ensuring that you are not fixated on doing things in a particular way, that you are able to do things from a frame of reference that ensures that you consistently become a better version of yourself. And that's why I say to people that celebrate every little progress you make, because every effort you make contributes to the path to becoming a master. So as you are consistent with your efforts and inputs, you are well on a journey to mastery. And that's why I said earlier on that one of the fundamental things about the growth mindset is that it helps you to reframe failure as a learning opportunity for growth and transformation rather than seeing failure as a setback. So you embrace challenges with an open mindset. You embrace challenges with an open mindset. However, there is a clear distinction between the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And let's look at it. When someone says, I can't do this thing, or I'm not sure I can change my ways, or this is who I am, that's pretty much an indication of the growth mindset or of the fixed mindset. I beg your pardon. So someone with a fixed mindset avoids challenges. They don't want to stretch themselves. They fear failure. They ignore feedback. This I've been doing it. I don't want to change it. That person has a fixed mindset. But when you look at the growth mindset, you embrace challenges, you learn from failure, like I mentioned, you reframe the way you see failure. Failure is not final. Failure is feedback. Failure can be reframed as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve, and to transform to become a better version of yourself. Also, someone with a growth mindset seeks feedback and they are open to giving and receiving feedback. Now, it's important I mention that the growth mindset significantly impacts learning, how you learn. It impacts innovation. When you see things from a different lens, rather than seeing failure, you are seeing an opportunity to reinvent, an opportunity to innovate, an opportunity to disrupt, an opportunity to improve that thing to become a better version. So it's very important. It's very, very important. Now let's look at why the growth mindset is important for leaders. The growth mindset is important for 4 reasons. Number 1, it enables adaptability in times of rapid change, meaning that you can pivot quickly. A perfect example is what happened during COVID. A lot of us knew that COVID-19 happened on us and we had no playbook. A lot of organizations had no playbook. If organizations said that this is the way we've been doing things, everybody must come to work, and they did not pivot, they would have risked a lot of employees' lives and the death toll would have tripled. But organizations had to adopt, they had to be adaptable, they had to pivot. And guess what? Organizations had to develop their COVID playbook while COVID was happening. So a growth mindset says, yes, I've been doing it like this, but I'm willing to change. I'm willing to learn from another person. I'm willing to adapt. The second reason why the growth mindset is important for leaders is that it fuels innovation through curiosity and experimentation. You want to be a great leader, you need to be a curious leader. You need to ask questions. You need to be discerning. You need to be watchful. You need to be observant. You need to be curious. You must embrace curiosity because curiosity drives and fuels innovation. You get into an environment and things are not going smoothly. The curious mind will say, why are things like this? How can I make it better? People are waiting longer queues before they are attended to as customers. The leader with a growth mindset will be curious. How can I shorten these lines? Number 3 is that it strengthens resilience by turning setbacks into learning opportunities. I've talked about that earlier on. You need to reframe. You see, with a growth mindset, you are able to reframe how you see things. And I say to people that your mindset is the collection of your beliefs, your attitudes, your thoughts, and your values concerning a matter. So it's that cohesive collection of beliefs, thoughts, attitudes, and values. That's why a mindset is a predisposition to doing things. And that's why we must ensure that we are not fixated on things that happen to us. I had a chat with someone yesterday and I said, one of the greatest lessons I've learned by exhibiting a growth mindset is the power of self-reflection. That means that I'm able to reflect, I'm able to think through what happened in my day and ask myself, what are the lessons that I've learned? How could I have handled those situations better? What that does is that it helps me to reframe situations from a different lens or from a different frame of reference. Number 4 is that it ensures relevance in a fast-changing business landscape. It ensures relevance in a fast-changing business landscape. The world of work is evolving. Businesses and organizations are looking for individuals who can move with the times and seasons. And let me say this, I often say to people that one of the things that pushes people from relevance to irrelevance, or what you call obsolescence, is what I call excuses. I'll talk about it further down the line, where I'll talk about how 5 things can trap you in your current comfort zone. I'll talk about them shortly. And so let's look at some ways. I'm going to share with you 6 ways to cultivate a growth mindset. Very important. Number 1, you must commit to continuous learning and self-development. I'm very big on self-development. In fact, I don't joke with my self-development. Self-development via reading books, watching podcasts, watching videos, taking online courses on LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Coursera, getting a mentor, all right? Getting a coach and all of that. Just ensure that you are learning. You are not stagnant. Second key to cultivating a growth mindset is that you need to actively seek feedback and use it to grow. Actively seek feedback and use it to grow. That's why, as an individual, you must have people in your inner circle that you can be vulnerable with, that you can trust, and you can be authentic with them. People who will not sugarcoat the truth. Those are the people you run to for feedback. If you are married, great. Your spouse is one source of feedback. You are not married, you have an accountability partner, you have a mentor, you have someone who can speak truth to power. Ensure that you actively seek feedback and use it to grow. Number 3 way to cultivate, a growth mindset is to reframe failure as a learning opportunity. And I think I've emphasized that largely since we started this webinar. So reframe failure. Don't see failure as final. See failure as feedback. The 4th way to cultivate a growth mindset is to embrace change rather than resist it. Let me say this to everyone who is listening to me. Change comes with benefits if you willingly embrace it. Change comes with benefits if you willingly embrace it, because you will not remain the same way by the time the change process is over. So embrace change. Be teachable, curious, and open-minded always. Be willing to ask questions. Be willing to ask questions. Be willing to question the status quo. And then future-proof your skills through lifelong learning. And in future-proofing your skills, I want to share with you what I call the CURE approach to future-proofing your skills. CURE. C is for cross-skilling. U is for upskilling. R is for reskilling. And E is for expert skilling. You want to future-proof your skills, adopt the CURE model. Cross-skilling, upskilling, reskilling, and expert skilling. How then do you foster a growth mindset in your team? Number 1, create a safe space for experimentation and learning. As the leader or the manager of the team, let people know that they are free to fail without victimization or retaliation. Let people know that if they genuinely make mistakes, they can open up to you and that they will not be reprimanded for making mistakes. So create a safe space. Number two, celebrate progress, not just perfection. If people are making, progress on a daily basis, celebrate them. Then promote collaboration and knowledge sharing. Very important. Let people share what they know. Let people teach others what they know. And then number four, offer constructive feedback and coaching. Offer constructive feedback and coaching. Now, let me tell you about the growth mindset and its cousins. The growth mindset has three cousins. And you see, these four things in the model I created, they are the anchors for enhancing personal, professional, and leadership excellence. So the growth mindset has three cousins. Cousin number one, lifelong learning. Cousin number two, intellectual humility. Cousin number three, optimistic attitude. And you see, you need this four to ensure that you are not fixated in life, to ensure that you can pivot, to ensure that you can see opportunities everywhere you find yourself. So what is lifelong learning? It's engaging in ongoing learning and development, seeking out new experiences, knowledge, and skills, and applying them in practical ways. That's lifelong learning. What's intellectual humility? It's recognizing the limitations of your knowledge and being open to learning from others and acknowledging the complexity. So intellectual humility says, I don't know everything. I know the limits of what I know, and I'm willing to learn from everyone. If you've read the book, The Alchemist says that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The Alchemist also says that if you keep thinking about a thing for a long time and you are ready to execute that thing, the universe will conspire to get those resources or the people that will help you make that thing happen. So intellectual humility. And then lastly, optimistic attitude, which is approaching challenges or issues with a positive mindset and reframing them. So the growth mindset is amplified by its cousins: intellectual humility, optimistic attitude, and lifelong learning. Let me share with you 7 critical mindsets that will help you stay relevant, resilient, and ready. 7 important mindsets, because yes, you have the growth mindset, very critical. But you see, if you are going to stay relevant, resilient, and ready, the growth mindset is now combined with 7 other mindsets. Number 1 is the learner's mindset. The learner's mindset says, I see every interaction with someone as an opportunity to learn and grow. That's the learner's mindset. Okay? And it is fundamental if you're going to stay relevant, resilient, and ready. The second is the can-do-it mindset. The can-do-it mindset says that I will do this thing regardless of the obstacles and challenges. I will commit to doing it. That's what the can-do-it mindset is all about. And hey, we all need the can-do-it mindset. Not chickening out at the face of fear, or at the face of a challenge, or at the face of an obstacle, or at the face of a roadblock or a barrier. The can-do-it mindset is what will help you push through that barrier. Say, I will not give up. I am determined to push through. The third mindset that you need to couple with the growth mindset to stay relevant, resilient, and ready is what we call the ownership mindset. The ownership mindset says that I take full responsibility for the consequences and the outcomes of a decision and an action. That I will be held accountable. I will take ownership for it. The fourth is what I call the no excuses mindset. And I'm going to spend some time here because, I was talking about excuses as one of the things that will prevent people from getting to the peak, and it's also one of the things that pushes people to irrelevance. The no excuses mindset says that I will not entertain excuses and I will remain resolute and determined in pursuing my goal. However, when you allow excuses become the order of your life, excuses can degenerate to irrelevance, or what we call stagnation, or what we call obsolescence, through 5 levels. When you entertain excuses at level 1, from excuses, it shifts to complacency, level 2. You now become comfortable with who you are. You are comfortable with your status quo. You don't see a reason to push yourself to learn or evolve to become better. From excuses to complacency, from complacency, it now goes to level 3, mediocrity, where you are now seen as mediocre. From level 3 pushes to level 4, incompetence. Incompetence, at the level of incompetence, people just say, I beg, he doesn't know what he's doing, he can't add value. But you see, when it moves from level 4 to level 5, level 5 is what we call obsolescence, where you are no longer seen as relevant or useful or valuable. But don't let it get to level 5. Once you notice it's getting to level 2, quickly self-correct and go back. So when you entertain excuses, it can degenerate to irrelevance. The 5th mindset is what we call the quality first mindset, which means that I make a commitment to diligence, excellence, and quality work. That I will do things excellently. I will do things with precision. I will do things without errors. The 6th mindset is what we call the go the extra mile mindset, which means that I am willing to make sacrifices to get that thing done, even when it is not convenient. And lastly, the result-oriented mindset says that I keep the big picture, I keep the result ahead of me, and it motivates me to do what I need to do. These are the 7 critical mindsets. When you add them to the growth mindset, they help you to stay relevant, resilient, and ready. As I get set to wrap up, let's look at some of the leaders who have, demonstrated the growth mindset in action. Number 1 is Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO. He transformed the company's culture through the growth mindset. And what happened? Their stock price increased over 700%. How about Alan Mulally, Ford Motors? Big advocate of the growth mindset. What happened with the growth mindset? They were able to turn around their processes. And what happened? They turned around the failing woes of the organization. And then lastly, a lot of us know her, Indra Nooyi, former PepsiCo CEO and chair. She championed performance with purpose through sustainable growth. She actually drove a growth mindset when she was at PepsiCo. She was a great leader who drove the growth mindset at PepsiCo. In conclusion, let me say this, so that we could take questions, we can interact. A growth mindset is more than a leadership tool. Hear me and hear me well. It's a leadership identity. It's more than a leadership tool. It is the lens through which high-impact leaders view challenges, setbacks, feedback, and even success. So ask yourself, from what frame of reference are you looking at the world? Is it a fixated mindset, or is it a growth mindset that is willing to adapt, willing to pivot, willing to become flexible? As I close, let me say this, that the future belongs to growth-minded leaders, and I encourage you to become one. Thank you so much, Zuria Resources, for the opportunity to share. Adedeji, I'll hand over back to you to coordinate the Q&A. I'm sure that we picked a couple of insights that will help us remain relevant, resilient, and ready in the evolving world of work. The future belongs to growth-minded leaders, and I encourage everyone listening on the call to become one. Deji and the Zuria team, thank you so much once again for the opportunity. I'll hand over to you to coordinate the Q&A. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Michael Ugu. Thank you once again for everyone that is on the webinar at the moment. Thanks for joining us today. We just explored what it truly means to be a growth-minded leader in a world that is constantly shifting. And I believe we can all agree that this has been a rich, thought-provoking section, from embracing challenges to cultivating self-awareness, building resilient team, and future-proofing yourself as a leader, as an individual. It is clear that growth is not a destination; it is a daily decision, right? And Doctor mentioned something which I would like to reiterate. It says, he said, curiosity drives and embrace innovation, right? Now, before we officially close, we would love to hear from you. What resonates most with you today? Do you have a question or thought you would like to share with us, with Doctor? Is there a challenge you are currently facing that ties into today's topic? Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat, or use the in the chat or in the comment section. This is the opportunity to engage directly and gain deeper insight from today's conversation. So thank you so much as you do that. Please, we await you. We await your questions in the comments. Please, let's kindly share. Um, all right. So please kindly share. I'm waiting. Thank you so much, Doctor, for that insightful section. It's been an amazing time with you. So as we wait for people to share in the comment section what uh, they have learned, or a particular situation they would like to share so that they can get insight. Um, I would also love to share again from as I mentioned earlier, some of the books of Dr. Michael Ugu, and where we can get it, especially Career Surge series, the trilogy from volume 1 to 3. We can You can visit seller.co/mo_sc to order instantly. All right. And as well, you can visit www.michaelogu.com to get the book and other books as well. Right. All right. We have some questions. All right. Let me share this. So we have here one day says, what are some practical ways leaders can build agility in decision making, especially during the time of uncertainty?
Hmm. Very interesting question, Deji. So, in my Career Search trilogy series, in volume 2 of Career Search, there is an entire chapter dedicated to agility. It's almost 40 pages. So, here one day, my first recommendation is for you to get the Career Search trilogy series. But I'll share some excerpts from that chapter in Career Search volume 2, the chapter on agility. And I'm going to share with you three important things from that chapter. Number one is to develop what we call a sense of hyper awareness. What is a sense of hyper awareness? It is being constantly watchful and observant of your environment. You see, because agility does not happen outside of a context. All right. Agility happens within a context. All right. And particularly within the context of uncertainty. Uncertainty means that you don't have all the indices, but you need to make a decision. You are not clear of what the outcome will look like, but you need to make a decision. So, number one, you need to be hyper aware. Number two, you need to develop your sense of acuity. Acuity means having a keen attention for details. And then lastly, you need to learn how to leverage and optimize counsel from agile leaders like yourself. Because when you are hyper aware and then you have acuity and you can leverage multiple perspectives, I call it in Career Search the blessing, harnessing the blessing of multiple perspectives. Most often times, in a time of uncertainty, when you harness multiple perspectives, someone would have gone through the same thing you have gone through and can offer perspective even when it is still not clear to you. Because most often times, Deji, uncertain situations come with some element of risk. All right, they come with some element of risk. You want to make a decision, you don't have all the facts, but you still need to make a decision. I don't know if what I've said made sense, Yewande, but those are practical ways that you can build agility. And like I mentioned, all the things that I mentioned on the call, in addition, because once you have the growth mindset, you already are building your agility's muscles. All right, because one of the things that drives the growth mindset or drives agility, sorry, I beg your pardon, is having a growth mindset that you are not fixed. All right, you are not rigid. You can pivot, you are agile, you are flexible. Yewande, I hope if what I've shared makes sense to you, it resonates. But of course, you have direct access to me. You can always reach out to me one on one, and we can also take the conversations offline. All right, so that's it, Deji.
All right, thank you so much for your response, Doctor. So we just want to acknowledge some people that share in the comments where they are joining us from and their name. Ademola, thank you for joining us from Lagos as well. Timileyin Makinde for joining us from Lagos as well. Jessica joining us from Lagos. Thank you so much. So please, if you have further question, any question, right, while we are still on this webinar, kindly share in the comment section, and it will be our pleasure to attend to you. Doctor is pretty much still here to attend to your questions. And as well as I mentioned earlier, I displayed earlier, you can get Dr. Michael Ogu's books at on his website at www.michaelogu.com. Kindly visit, buy, and share as well. You can buy multiple.
Yeah,
Right.
and
That's
Deji, let me also say that everything I shared this morning, all right, they are excerpts from the Career Surge trilogy series. I took some things from the chapter on agility. I took some things on the chapter on change. I also took some things on the chapter on intentionality, where you have, the growth mindset and its cousins. All right, and I took excerpts from volumes 1, 2, and 3 just to prepare for this session. But for people to really get the real meat, they will need to get the copies of those books and then take a deep dive. It's both a book and a workbook, all right, because at the end of each chapter, there are questions where you can fill in, and then there are blank pages to do your summary notes and all of that. So just wanted to put that out there that I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just taking from my existing body of knowledge and then sharing it with people. So that's just it, basically.
all right. That's very well. Thank you so much for sharing that. Please, if you want to, and I encourage you to explore more, right? Get more deeper knowledge, as one of the points that Doctor shared this morning is continuous learning, right? Having uh, being curious about learning, right? And this is a material for you to explore to get more deeper understanding into how you can uh, grow, develop, and also explore more, in your career. So kindly share your takeaways as well in the comment section. Even if you are unable to share, this section is recorded and is going to you can have access to it after this section, right? So thank you so much everyone for joining us today. Uh, this is just a testament for us at Zurel. We are building more than just events. We are building a community of growth-minded professionals, and conversation like this where that community comes alive. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time, for the knowledge you share with us today, and for also facilitating this section for us at Zuriel. Thank you so much, everyone. Please do not hesitate to share your takeaways in the comment section. These Doctor can see them afterwards on LinkedIn. This is a live LinkedIn event, so do not hesitate to share, and your comments will be attended to. Thank you so much, everyone, and it's our pleasure to have you today. Just to wrap up as well, I would like to share some of our open courses as I've shared earlier so that you can get more familiar, especially for people that are just joining. We have some open courses for professionals which can be customized and tailored to your organization needs. apart from apart from the ones that you discovered for us to address in your organization. We have the AI tool and prompt mastery for professionals, data analytics and business intelligence, human resource information system, coaching skills for leaders and managers, digital transformation for leaders, design thinking for operational excellence, business communication and branding, corporate governance and ethics, customer experience and management, and emotional intelligence for conflict resolution. Kindly, you can sign up your team, department in your organization for all this program and even more customized and tailored programs with us. You can contact the line, the phone number on the screen, or you can reach out to us at me at zero.co or zeroresources at gmail.com. And it's be our pleasure to partner and to work with you and with your organization. Support